Palestinians. They've killed 2,000 fucking Palestinians, most of them civilians, most of them fucking children. That's what Israel does. You can be whatever religion that you want to be. I'm not fucking Hitler, so I don't give a shit, right? You want to be Jewish, you want to be Buddhist, you want to be fucking, you know, Mormon, what the fuck ever. I'm atheist, so I don't give a shit what you do. What I do believe is that you shouldn't hurt other people, right? So you should adhere to the golden rule. So go ahead and believe in your fucking silly little gods and your stupid ass fucking, you know, my God is better than your God. That's a fucking argument that's going on in Israel right now. All the fucking bloodshed in the Holy Land. Because you got 3 Abrahamic fucking religions that's trying to say Jerusalem is theirs. And, so that's, right, Abraham wasn't even fucking real, but you got the Muslims and the Jews and the Christians that all descended from Abraham. So they all came out of Abraham. Abraham wasn't even fucking real. No one gives a shit, right? Who gives a... and then you got that beheading, and then Robin Williams, and then the Palestinians, and then Ferguson. A lot of shit's fucking, you know, there's a lot of things that's, you know, shit's really hitting the fan. ISIS is a huge fucking threat. They went ahead and took over like a cache of American weapons, a cache of American weapons, and they took over some banks, so that immediately made them fucking millionaires. And they were being financed by America to fight in Syria, to fight against the Assad regime, and now they're, you know, the blowback always keeps coming back on to us. We did the same thing with Saddam Hussein, same thing with Bin Laden, and we have, you know, we're a fucking empire, so we have 900 military bases in 150 countries, and when you sell weapons all across the world, eventually those weapons are going to turn against you. And that's blowback, right? So you don't want that type of shit to happen. I don't see how empire even helps me as a working class man, having to go out here, you know, to a 9 to 5, work a minimum wage job. What the fuck does the empire do for me? What does the empire do for any working families out here whatsoever? We have a bloated military budget. It gets us into conflicts that we can't stop, and it gets us, you know, it's like an octopus. When you have tentacles that just go all across the world, even if you was the, you know, Mother Teresa, there's going to be situations that you just make the wrong judgment call on, right? And so shit's going to go down bad. And so just having all of our personnel all around the world like that, I think we should be mostly focused on trade and economic relations. Yes, the military does help us, but the fact that we carry the entire burden of being the world's policeman, the United Nations, the reason why it's fucking bullshit is because it's ineffective when America doesn't, you know, back it. So the United Nations has no fucking authority whatsoever, except for when, generally speaking, America, you know, backs it. There's 4 other countries as part of the Security Council, so if those 4 countries can agree on an idea and then get America to sit down, sometimes they could get something through. But most of the time, the United Nations is a front for America, right? Whatever the United Nations does, especially across the world, it, you know, America needs the United Nations justification. So if the rest of the world says it's okay, then they can go in, and then it's cool. Bush didn't give a shit about that, but really, you know, the United Nations is a collection of, what, 200 countries or something, so in New York. So all these countries come in to talk about the issues of the world, and then they come to America, right, which we're known to spy on Germans over in their own country. So, of course, when they come to our country, we're going to be trying to spy on them. I was actually kind of surprised that Che Guevara was actually able to get to the United Nations and make a big-ass speech, right? A lot of them do. Gaddafi, and then, and other ones, Hugo Chavez, right? So anyways, that's good that we host it and that we're free like that, but their talk about moving it and doing some other things. Anyways, the United Nations, it's, right, the whole point of the United Nations was established after World War II to stop one country from invading another country. When it came to the Hitler Nuremberg trials, there was a lot of people that was actually sitting there talking about, you know, they couldn't figure out what was criminal and what wasn't criminal in a war. Essentially, whatever the other side did was criminal and what your side did wasn't. And that's just fucking bullshit. So actually, the only principle that came out of the Nuremberg trials was that you cannot invade a sovereign nation. One sovereign nation cannot invade another sovereign nation. That's what we learned from the United Nations. And so if we just have one organization out there that just prevents one country from invading another country, you know, unnecessarily, that's fucking great. It's a good idea. And a lot of times America doesn't even pay the dues. We treat the United Nations with scorn and contempt, right? Oh, it's like, you know, I don't know, it's like a little fucking, I don't know, like a rent-a-cop, right? It's like the police force, and then you got the mall security cop. And so that's what, so anyways, that's, okay, so Israel. How did Israel begin? Where'd it come from? Why do we even have an Israel? Israel hasn't always been there. 1948 is when it was established by America and the United Nations. Again, I don't know how the United Nations gets in this conversation, but because it had the approval of the United Nations, it looks legitimate, right? But there's the truth. 10 reasons why we shouldn't accept AIPAC, and actually that's written 2 years ago. But let's talk about Israel. So Israel, it's a country in Western Asia situated on the southeastern shore of the Mediterranean Sea. It shares and borders Lebanon. On November 29, 1947, the United Nations General Assembly recommended the adoption and implementation of the partition plan of mandatory Palestine. On May 14, 1948, David Ben-Gurion, the executive head of the Zionist organization and president of the Jewish Agency for Palestine, declared the establishment of a Jewish state for Eretz Israel to be known as the State of Israel. Who is Eretz Israel? And then a state independent upon the termination of the British mandate for Palestine, May 15, 1948. So a state independent upon the termination of the British mandate for Palestine. So that means the British mandate, the British were trying to say that they fucking controlled Palestine somehow, right? That's their land, that's Bethlehem, that's where Jesus supposedly walked. And that's, this is what this is saying, this is Wikipedia. So this is, a state independent upon termination. So once Palestine terminates, then they're going to try to get Israel in there. So neighboring Arab armies invaded Palestine on the next day and fought the Israel forces. So as soon as they, set up colonization, immediately the Arabs in the region fucking started a war against them. And, rightfully so in some respects. The Jamestown settlers, it makes sense. Roanoke, what happened to the lost colony of Roanoke? There's the San Miguel de Guadalupe or whatever. The first colony in America had slaves that fucking rebelled, of course. Who the fuck would accept that type of shit, right? Hey, welcome Christopher Columbus to our land. Please come in here and murder and enslave us and, do nasty shit to whatever, I guess, our fucking carcasses. What sick fuckers, right? And the fact that Christopher Columbus and all the information is put out there. All Americans can read all this shit, but they choose not to. They'd rather be stupid, right? Nationalism. It's all about, oh, I'm so good, I'm so good. America's a great country. I love this country, but the, it's irrational love. It's the same love I have for Kentucky. Why? Because I'm here and I love where I'm at. And you're going to have issues anywhere you go. But I think instead of just being like, hey, we're the best and shit, I think you could say we could get better. And of course we could get better. People could get better. The best can always get better, right? Michael Jordan could get better at basketball during his prime. Muhammad Ali when he was boxing. You could always get better. And since you can always improve, why not? Why just be like, hell, I'm America, I'm the best, everything's good, and I don't give a shit. So, okay, Israel. That happens in 1948. And then neighboring Arab armies invaded Palestine the next day, fought the Israeli forces. Israel has since fought several wars with neighboring Arab states in the course, which has occupied the West Bank, the Sinai Peninsula, and part of South Lebanon, Gaza Strip, and the Golan Heights, and annexed portions of those territories, including East Jerusalem, but the border with the West Bank is disputed. Israel signed peace treaties with Egypt and with Jordan, but efforts to resolve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict have so far not resulted in peace. Why? Because Israel doesn't want a two-state solution, right? And since Israel don't want a fucking two-state solution, well, the world's just going to watch them just burn down their ghetto, right? That's the ghetto. That's a concentration camp. That's Adolf Hitler loved the fact that we fucking, had asymmetrical warfare against the Native Americans, meaning we had the guns, germs, and steel, and they had jack shit. The very first battle, they, come with sticks. They were protecting themselves with sticks, right? They didn't want to get hurt, and so they put a bunch of sticks all around them. Well, just a couple shots, and then scared the shit out of them, they fucking ran off. That's not, you're not a bully who picks on some little kid, somebody that picks on someone smaller. You're not fucking impressing anybody. You're an asshole. You're a piece of shit. And that's all you're doing. You're basically declaring war against a defenseless people. They've already blockaded Gaza. They've already put Gaza in a cage, in a concentration camp, right? They're stuck. There's a wall there. Nobody can come in and give them any food. Even the food that is being sent into Gaza, the calorie, they're counting every single calorie because they don't want the Gazan or the Palestinian people to get stronger and be able to, I don't know, lift weights or something. So that's how the blockade is complete. Anything going in and out is all, with Israel's approval. And who the fuck, just mind-bending oppression all the fucking time, just having that. I saw a quote today that said the Palestinians, their choice isn't to, you know, stand or die standing up or sitting down, right? The whole thing. I'd rather die standing like a man than, you know, on my knees begging like a dog. They don't even have that option. Palestinians, their only option is dying on the streets or in their beds. That's what the Palestinians have to worry about. Am I going to die while I'm sleeping? I hope not. Oh, I woke up. Good. Life is here. And you know, children, 2,000 fucking kids. 9/11 was 3,000. 9/11 was 3,000. If it would have gone over the 3,000 number, that would have been a worse tragedy than 9/11. That's just one of many. The many fucking wedding that we bombed. You know, the fucking Afghanistan. What the fuck was Afghanistan even about? Bin Laden was in Pakistan. So why was we in, what the fuck was Afghanistan? We're still in Afghanistan because we're an empire. We go there, we establish military bases, and then we can extract the resources, put fucking pipes in the middle of their country and shit, and then get our companies, oil companies, which have been making record profits on top of record profits. You know, I remember when gas was 87 cents in the 90s. 98, 99, it was 87 cents, right? And that was like, when it got to 99 cents or over $1, it's like, what the fuck is going on, man? Gas is $1.05. Now it's like, I'm happy if it's $4. So, that's Israel's founding, right? Not exactly founded on a nice firm bedrock of, you know, of concrete there. Now, the massacres that Israel has committed has been a shit ton. You have the Arab al-Mawazi massacre, the Bahr el-Bakr primary school bombing, the Al-Dawayimi massacre, the Eobun massacre, the Hula massacre, the Kaf Qism massacre, Khan Yunis massacre, 1996 shelling of Qana airstrike, Kibya massacre, Rafah massacre, Saf massacre. A shit ton of fucking massacres committed by Israel. So that's pretty fucking sick. There's an article just recently now. America's putting pressure on the International Criminal Court to not put any war criminal charges on Israel for the shit that they did to Palestine. So that's America, right? The Senate came out immediately. Mitch McConnell's like, I support the genocide of 2,000 Palestinian fucking kids because Jewish people can do whatever the fuck they want to do. Because Israel can do whatever the fuck they want to do, and the reason why they can do whatever the fuck they want to do is because the AIPAC lobbyists have a lot of fucking, you know, have a lot of fucking pull and pressure. Generally, most people agree with the idea that Jews need, Americans at least, they need a homeland, they need a safe spot, but why Palestine? Put them out in Montana, you know? Go to, just out in the hills, you know, driving through these hills. There's plenty of hills around here in Kentucky. So if you wanted to have a, you know, a homeland for the Jewish people, why take other people's land? Your big country. You got a lot of money, you know, you're America and you want to help these people out. But instead you're actually diving in the middle of the fucking, you know, the Middle East, the hotbed Middle East. So you're basically diving right into the fucking terrorist central, then expecting, right, all this shit's going to get fucking better when you do that type of shit. So it makes no sense whatsoever. There's oil over there, and there's a lot of rich people that know what's going on in the world, so they want to get a hold of oil. They want to maintain the global control that we have, right, the hegemony of being a lone superpower, wipe out any fucking competition. It's totally Machiavellian, right? So we're a lone superpower, so, you know, to hell with anybody else. That's been our policy since 1492, and Chomsky's got a book out that actually, you know, talks about essentially that's the genocide hasn't stopped. That was Christopher Hitchens and Noam Chomsky's biggest difference was that Hitchens says that for Chomsky it was all genocide. And it is all genocide. Hitchens started to say, well, you know, sometimes it's good stuff. And sometimes you could justify, but every fucking empire always goes in saying they're going to save the people, make things better for them, and ultimately is to subject them, is to bring them into their countries, to take their resources, to make them slaves. It hasn't fucking changed, you know. That's what Christopher Columbus tried to do, the Spanish conquistadors. The shit that they would fucking do to the Haitian people, bury them in the ground so their head would be up and let birds just fucking peck at them and shit. Just beheading people for fun, right? There's two soldiers saw parrots, two boys with a parrot. They took the parrot and then chopped the boys' heads off, you know? Like, how does that make any sense whatsoever? Not only does it you know, not make any sense, but it's fucking barbaric and it's evil. And then they had the gall to sit there and say that Native Americans are the fucking, you know, savages, so-called savages. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, we got the Saponi, and then the Iskosogos, and the Choctaw, and the Outagamie, and Ojibwa, and the Green River Yuchi, and the Cherokee, and the Shawnee. You know, there's a whole ton of fucking Native Americans, Native Kentuckians that were here before the fucking white people. And, you know, I'm an integrationist, so I love everybody.